Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to Telling Tales. Welcome to Cincinnati Chronicles. Of course, I am wearing my Bengals shirt again because the Bengals won their second playoff match on Saturday. Now, only one game between them and the Super Bowl, and I'm terrified. Quite frankly, terrified. I'm going to watch it live on Sunday night and just be a absolute terrified, nervous wreck all the way through. So that's fun. That's fun. That's really good. Oh, Cincinnati Chronicles, our anthology series of various different World of Darkness games, with all the stories taking place on one day in one place, Cincinnati, obviously, on one warm summer's day in 1995. Hi, hello, how are you? This is the Mage the Ascension portion of our anthology, the third story arc, and we're going to have some magical fun tonight. Let's do it. But before we start getting into player introductions and recaps, I've got to do the promo stuff, which I must have said at least 1,000 times by now, but I never get bored of it. Do you? Down below, there are so many links. There's links to our YouTube and to our Twitch. You're watching on one. Please check out the other. Our YouTube in particular has just hundreds and hundreds of hours of roleplay content now for you to check out. There's links to our social media, our Patreon, our Discord, all those things. Do what you'd expect. Our Discord is a lovely, happy place with a nice community if you want to join up there. We run 3 series weekly here on Twitch. Normally there is Shadows of Estrin on Mondays, but at the moment that's actually hopping onto Tuesdays for a couple of weeks. So as of next week, Shadows of Estrin will be on Tuesdays. There's also Simbroom on Wednesdays, which is our kind of our longest running flagship sort of series thing. And then Thursdays is this Cincinnati Chronicles horror that I have welded together out of nasty things. We also run a one-shot on the first weekend of every month. This year we've already had Cyberpunk 2020. Last year we had so many things, Mort Borg and The Expanse and Dune and Troika and 1,000 other wonderful, well, not 1,000, 11 things. Those are all viewable on our YouTube, and our next one will be Tales from the Loop, which will be taking place on Sunday, February the 6th. We usually do Saturdays, but this one's going to be a Sunday because we just thought we'd shake it up. Why not? But turn up for that. That's going to be really good. I love Tales from the Loop, and I guarantee, asterisk, that you will too. Asterisk, not a guarantee. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to start introducing the players, and they can start telling us about the events of last week. He said, saying all these things very slowly because he realizes that he does not have the order that he gave for recaps. But now I know because I looked. The first of our players to come on is John. John plays Roth, Verbena. How would you describe? Well, you describe Roth for me.
Verbena outdoorsman. I can't. Those are nouns.
Sure, sounds like a category on Grindr. Why don't you tell us how the story started, please, John?
It started with us not on Grindr. It started with us in a lecture at our wonderful magical school, and our professor running us through the fundamentals and the like wheel of the different spheres of magic, and then basically saying it's all nonsense and there must be another way of doing it, but not really answering his own questions. Let out the class as the bell went and asked the 4 of us to stay behind and offered us a bit of field work for some extra credit, which we all took because of various reasons, but mostly because we're good students.
Absolutely, yes. And what was the nature of this field work?
The field work was to go and recover some items that the professor had left in this city called Cincinnati, because weird things had been happening and some of his alarms had been tripped, and he wanted his things back. That's basically it, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's basically it. Yeah, sure. So to tell us how this proceeded, let's bring on our second player. It's Chris. Hi, Chris. Chris is playing
Hello.
Charlie, our Society of Ether engineer. And Chris, why don't you walk us through what happened next?
Well, we were summoned to a room in the basement, which was going to be our means of transference down to the city to embark on this investigation. So we all made little stops at our dorm rooms, I suppose, to pick up various bits and pieces for a journey. Most of us being quite cloistered, pun somewhat intentionally. Kind of didn't really pack appropriately. I think only Myra remembered to maybe think about food. But we all went down to the. Oh, sorry, it was you, John. I apologize. We all went down to find this room in the basement, which is quite tricky in such a labyrinthine and enchanted place. And Carolyn managed to get completely lost and had to be ripped.
Yes, ripped through through space time to be there. Is it worth noting, perhaps at this point, where the university is? Otherwise,
of course, that the university is in an edge realm of clouds, endless sky and clouds, and it floats like some wonderful whimsical ship. The main entry hall. Matt, you should watch the VOD from last week. Matt described it beautifully.
I'd love
really
to
want
know.
Play a whole game there.
I'll catch up.
But well, we eventually found our way there, and in the room, which is more or less the bottom of the facility, we found an elevator going down, and we began to check it out and try and. Well, we were just told to figure it out, so there was clearly a lever that just said down, so we figured that was what made it go. But Charlie being an incessant tinker, decided to spend a little bit of time trying to figure out what made it tick first. Turned out it was probably etherite in construction, so made by people, my people, I suppose, effectively. And we eventually got in there and went on the last chapter of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or first chapter of the sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory styles vignette of plunging through the clouds in a terrifyingly intense manner. All apparently completely according to plan, based on my analysis of the device that we were encased in. But we then wound up coming to a halt.
Absolutely. And to say where you came to a halt and what happened next, let's bring on our third player, Holly. Holly is playing Mira, our resident Euthanatos goth kid, essentially. Holly, hi.
Hello.
Let's tell us where that elevator wound up, because I'm on tenterhooks.
Sure. So the elevator emerged into this very odd, sort of early 20th century hotel corridor with a lot of strange disorganized rooms with lots of interesting sounds and people coming in and out of them. So we went down this corridor trying to escape as quickly as possible, and emerged out into the bright Cincinnati sunlight, at which point we turned around and the door had disappeared. So Mira put on the sunglasses, which had been given to her by the professor, and the door was visible with a little plaque saying to ring for attention, which means that we now have a way back, which is lovely. So then Carolyn got distracted by some chili at a chili van, but we have no money, so she wasn't able to get any.
Some famous Cincinnati chili.
Indeed. Vil, Mira's raven familiar, saw some smoke and has flown off to the north. And we found a newspaper describing a variety of delightful events that had been occurring over the course of the past 24 hours in Cincinnati. After that, we headed to a diner, which was the location that we'd been directed to by the professor. Mira went and got a slice of chocolate pie from the bins behind it, And also, we found a familiar-looking man in a small car outside the diner, sleeping. At which point, his colleague showed up, told him to go home because apparently he'd been on the roof last night, and invited us in for some free food.
Yeah, he said he'd been on the roof last night and had needed to maybe go home and take some of his medication.
Yes. Yeah.
For people, previous viewers who may have, for some reason, might have skipped an episode, that familiar person was Marshall, who's turned up in the diner before. That was the gentleman who runs the diner, whose name I have literally forgotten and didn't put it in my notes. Oh no. Is it Bill?
I don't think I wrote it down. He doesn't seem that important.
Sure. But anyway, the owner of the diner let you in, gave you some free food because clearly thought you were down on your luck. And then we'll have Pierre handle the rest. So, Pierre, our final player, who plays Carolyn Zelrich, our resident Cult of Ecstasy dancer. Why don't you let us know how we wrapped up last time? And also, whoever has... John, can you zoom in on Carolyn's image, please?
So, yeah, we were sitting in our booth, enjoying our complimentary food, when we were approached by something that looked a lot like our professor, Professor Gray, but not exactly. He had like smooth skin in like an unnatural way, and maybe he moved a bit funny, and it became apparent that this was some avatar of our professor who had come with a message from said man, apparently, in the form of 5 sort of holographic snow globe-like sized and sort of shaped objects, which were sort of seemingly depicting locations, I guess. One was what looks to be a manufacturing plant, partially wrecked, with some smoke coming out of it. One was an old-fashioned building, which looked like it had Gothic architecture, and it was on fire. The third was an unassuming gas station, which just had a bit of police tape around it and a few police cars around it. And some kind of... And another one was a small wooded grove, which was leading to like this kind of rock face with a tunnel or a cave, and there were some bones ominously at the entrance. The final one was just this weird neon white letters saying error amidst some smoke, which didn't actually look like a location at all, but based on the other ones, we're sort of assuming that was
something's gone wrong, but it perhaps should be showing a place.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is showing a place, and that place is a terrifying smoky void with the
words
neon
error.
letters of error hanging in the air. Maybe. Who knows? Anything can happen in the Mage the Ascension Federation. So, without any further ado, I think we'll pick up exactly where we left off. You're all sat in the Spindrift Diner. We have a decision to make, folks, I guess. You've got these locations to head to. And how are you going to find them? Because you just have... Like, some of them, I'm more than happy for you to literally just use the newspaper for some of them. Because, like the manufacturing plant, you have... you could find it with Charlie has that A to Z as well. Maybe the same can be done for the I think your characters will probably put 2 and 2 together about the fancy building that was on fire and the library that was on fire and stuff. And I think I mentioned that the gas station was mentioned in the article as well. So I'm more than happy for you to basically make quite a straightforward roll using those things to at least pin the locations of those 3 places down.
We also know that there is the fire to the north, which I'm assuming is the library.
No, that's the plume of smoke from the manufacturing plant.
Plume of smoke from the manufacturing plant. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we at least know the direction that one of those massive fires is in.
Absolutely, but yeah, I definitely think with the newspaper and these images and Charlie's A to Z and a couple of a roll for each time you want to go to one of them, I'll have very little problem in letting you find your way there.
I'd maybe like to ask for some help. I will address the robot and go, Professor, is it possible for you to cross-reference these locations on this map? Oh, you're on mute.
The not professor kind of glances down briefly at the map and looks up with those kind of glassy, expressionless eyes and says, "That is not part of parameters."
Well, thank you anyway.
Devices have been delivered. The not professor stands, puts on the raincoat and the wide-brimmed hat and starts to walk out of the Spindrift Diner.
Yeah, he was a helpful one, right?
That's very impressive stuff. That's really impressive. God, you have to pull some weight to get in. Wow.
Impressive is a word for it.
I think I would have appreciated, just a piece of paper with more clear instructions than all this.
You're in the wrong business for that kind of lack of imagination. Did you see it? Wasn't brilliant. And sorry, we must not get sidetracked. Where time is limited, I suppose.
Uncanny.
You've now got about 5.5 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably get a move on. I am feeling the library, if other people are feeling the library.
Yeah, that seems like
be pretty easy to find, I suppose.
There was an article about it in the newspaper, and I'll try and find the address.
Absolutely. Well, if Roth is going to give it a go, let's have a roll for intelligence plus your choice of either investigation or streetwise.
Investigation it is.
Just a standard one. I don't think it should be a difficult roll.
Okay.
And yes, one of our party has figured out that this is D10s, not D6s. So it's...
Oh, damn, I'll have to get my other ones out. No, it's
playing on hard mode, is it?
Ooh. Just one success.
That's all you need. Yeah, that's fine. It's a simple task.
Yeah.
You pin down at the street. It is in downtown Cincinnati. It's only probably maybe even just 5 minutes or so walk away. Not far at all.
That's an easy one to get to. Shall we skedaddle?
Yeah, I'm going to ask the owner if I can get some more coffee in a to-go cup.
He kind of looks over at you and kind of says, yeah, sure. And just kind of, gets a little coffee in like a little foam, cup and presses a plastic top over and slides over and says, if any of you need, some shifts now and then, just come back, okay? You seem good kids.
Well, thank you very much.
You.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We'll consider it. On the way out, I would like to try and, because he's been nice to us, I'd like to give him a little
good luck
boost. Yeah, a little bit of good
luck.
luck.
Yeah. Okay. So, this might be our first multi-sphere. No, we already had a multi-sphere one with Chris's examination of the elevator. So you're trying to give him a little bit of good luck. So I'm pretty sure that will be entropy 2.
Yeah.
And also, if you're affecting a living being, that will be life too.
Yeah, both of which I have.
Both
so
of which you
good.
have. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. So it's definitely coincidental. So that's going to be difficulty 5, modified by various things, and I don't know why I didn't go straight to the magic modifier tables for like the beginning of this stream, because it's definitely the page I'm going to be keeping open on the PDF. So are you using some kind of personalized instrument in order to do this?
I would either use that gold coin that I had the last time, because that's like my luck thing, and so far I've only been messing around with luck.
Sure.
So I probably use that again.
I think you described it as it looks like a coin that no one could recognize where it seems to have come from.
Exactly. It's definitely not
Just an odd
usable
symbol on it,
currency.
or-
Yeah.
Sure. So that'll knock you down to difficulty 4. Are you taking time to do this? Are you trying to do it like the time it will take to do this will be noticeable time that you'll be lurking nearby, unless you try and fast cast it on your way out.
I'm going to try and fast cast it. Like,
Sure.
I might as well.
So you're back up to 5. You spending any quintessence or anything like that?
Sure. Why not? I will spend our quintessence.
Sure. So you're back down to 4 there. So yeah, I don't think there's any other kind of thing I can do. So hey,
okay,
go for it.
Yes, 1 success.
Okay. So that will be some. Yeah, sure. So as you're kind of like you tell me, how do you, as you're walking out of to the door and out, how do you sort of how does this work? What would someone see if they were looking at you?
They would probably just see as I exit the diner, as I go out the door, I'm just gonna like turn around, and as I'm putting my sunglasses on, I'm just gonna like lightly just like thumb the coin around my neck and just look directly at the guy and just blink, and then sunglasses on and back.
Sure. As you kind of exit out of the diner, just as the doors kind of swing and close, you hear the phone at the side of the counter start ringing.
Okay, I'll do.
So you walk out into what is now a very warm parking lot in the rising heat of the Cincinnati day. And are we just kind of walking our way along the now relatively busy streets of Cincinnati to where the library is? Or was?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, okay. You're walking through downtown Cincinnati. It's like any kind of major American city in the world of darkness. It's very similar to what it would be in our world, but just a bit grimmer and grittier and more gothic-punk. You draw a few odd stares from people as you're walking as a kind of like unusual little group of individuals, but they just pass you off. You're just a group of kids making their way to the center of town. And as you round a corner a few minutes later onto kind of a long row of various kind of commercial developments and quite anonymous looking like small office blocks, you see that about halfway along this row of large buildings is it's not like a column of smoke, but there's definitely some sort of kind of bits of smoke and steam rising into the air over a particular building. It's the only fully stone building remaining in the row. It is fronted with kind of arches of multiple windows, most of which seem to have burst in the heat. And a number of kind of very carved stone heads placed on the front of it. As I said, quite a Gothic-looking structure. There is a few sort of emergency service barricades that have been put up around it, like those kind of like chest-high plastic things. But like a couple of them have already fallen over or been knocked aside by people, and there doesn't seem to be anyone like actively guarding it or anything like that. And what I'm going to do, no, we'll save it for when we approach. That's fine. The street is
Okay.
quite busy, but it's
Right.
also a large building and looks like if you were inside it, like people wouldn't be able to see what you're up to too much.
Any good plans for getting into here?
I mean, does it look like there's obvious holes in the building or anything? Like,
Oh yeah, there's part of the ceiling seems to have collapsed, and on top of that, at least one of the windows on the ground floor has the glass has burst out from it and kind of shattered onto the street and it's kind of been swept away, but more swept up against the wall. So there's just this row of incredibly sharp shards of glass just kind of pushed against the stone wall. It also used to have a wooden door. And now
But it
it's
does
just got a doorway.
I
Seems
assume there's
like-
still kind of police around, or at least some.
Nope.
No.
But it's still a busy street.
It is still a busy street, but there's no one guarding it. There's no one,
Yeah.
you know.
What about
stopping it.
side streets? Are there kind of service? Is there a service
No,
road or the back?
it's literally flanks. It's just next to buildings. If you see what I mean, it's right in the middle of a row. There are a couple of people who are kind of like near the barricades, kind of like gawping at it a bit. And on the other side of the road, now we come to mention it, you can actually see a small film crew. Kind of, and you can see like a reporter in a fancy suit sort of doing something with the library as a backdrop, but there's definitely there's no security or anything like that.
There's no way. Okay, two things strike me. There's no way we're getting in here without at least a good risk of getting noticed. And two, this was an explosion. Like, fires don't blow windows out.
Fires absolutely blow windows out
if
through heat
they're
pressure.
warm enough.
Yeah.
The heat.
I should know better. I have appointed forces.
Just before we go down that chicken in a basket, I just wanted to
I think I'll just sort of say, I mean, I can get us in probably, via our means.
We need to be cautious. We're not protected by the facility anymore. Stuff down here will hurt.
When am I not cautious? I say, like, with a gesture, and like you can see, like my very like flowing bright clothes are kind of like moving around.
I was expecting to say you just gesture and accidentally hit a bystander in the face or something.
I mean, I'm quite coordinated. I'll have you know.
Yeah, sorry, Chris. If you were asking about alleyways and stuff, as in you just want a place nearby that's like quiet. Yeah. There'll be a couple of alleyways. There's just nothing flush onto the building in case you were planning on getting through.
I was kind of hoping for a way to sneak in, but
sure. But if you wanted to peace and quiet, to not be seen doing things magical, then yeah, there's multiple little alleyways. You'd have to investigate them, but yeah.
I mean, if I can get a look inside, that'll make it even easier. So
correspondence here.
Yeah, I was thinking of creating some doorways to.
I could also just make it so that we're less likely to be seen.
That would be very handy covering.
I mean,
there's a film crew there.
I mean, they can't be there forever.
And also, like, it's not that improbable for a distraction to happen further down the street that makes everyone look a certain way for a certain amount of time.
That would be very nice.
I mean, I rate my chances for just walking in there anyway.
If it weren't for those two people stood like right outside, I'd probably just do that anyway.
Okay, I mean, I think I'll walk up to the up to this building and sort of peer inside in a way that is like at least plausibly deniable as being just a person curious.
Sure. Yeah. Like, what you just kind of wandering up and yeah.
People
are gawping in there. Yeah, you can definitely wander up and have a look,
peering it through the windows, just getting a good look.
getting to grips with the place. That will obviously help, like trying
Yeah.
to port the four of you in there. Yeah. Well, what you see inside, and I think we'll talk about the interior here because you can see it very well from where you are. It seems like a remarkable amount of the interior actually hasn't burnt, but definitely this area at the front has gone up in flames, and other parts of it seem to have roasted. But one thing that's notable is you can see, even in the heat of the day, there is a lot of water sloshing around inside that library and kind of dripping down from the multiple levels and pooling up on the floor. So clearly the fire services got here and, to a certain degree at least, put it out. What I'd like everyone to do here in the group and people watching as well, rather than I will describe the library, but what I'd like you to do, and this was an absolute gift, by the way, I'd like you to Google Cincinnati Main Library. So, Cincinnati Main Library actually was demolished in 1955, but it was not in the world of darkness. And I can assure you, as soon as you start to see those images, you will know clearly some Tremere or other saved that from destruction in 1955. In fact, John or Chris, either of you guys, do you want to even maybe pop up an image on with a share screen? Is that all right? Once we get going there, or even just a Google page and click through a few images. Cincinnati Main Library has one of those wonderful kind of American-style open library setups with an area and a central floor area with a number of tables where people would take their books to read, and huge wooden stacks accessible via spiral stairs and kind of balcony platforms up on all around it. The roof itself was paneled glass, and the that central floor area was a pattern of white, black, and red diamond. There we go. What a gift, right? I just Googled Cincinnati Library to go, would there be a location in Cincinnati that would be a good library for the World of Darkness? And this came up. So, you know, pretty strong. And it even had, apparently in 1955, Stephen Merchant even came in to read a book, as you can see at the bottom left there. So, yeah, that is what it looks like, Pierre, but a lot of it is burnt.
And
covered
now
in water,
wet. Yeah.
And soaked, yeah.
Brilliant. I think
there's no one in there.
Cool. If at all possible, I'll like try and I don't know, maybe get a little bit like a splinter of wood or a piece of object from like, you know,
sure.
the
I'd
door
say
or whatever.
The actual burst open window,
the glass, I guess.
Yeah, a shard of glass from that will do.
Yeah, I'll take that and sort of pick it up and put it in one of my many pockets.
One of the other Gorpers kind of looks over what you're doing and goes, oh. Like reaches down and gets a shard of glass as well, and looks very, very happy with that.
I'll wink at him, and then head off towards the where the group is, and say, "Yeah, I think I can get us in. If you want to provide a distraction at the same time, Myra, that'd be much appreciated. But we'll see how it goes."
Sure. Yeah, I'll try and do that.
Just from anyone looking down this alleyway, potentially.
Well, you have to find that. Like
that is a good.
Can we? If you want to find a quiet place, how about we make that roll first? Because if you find a place no one is going to find you, I'm not sure a distraction will be entirely required. But so why? Who is looking for a quiet place for Carolyn to carry out her magic? Charlie, Mira, can we have a roll from one person primarily first? And Chris put his hands up. So why don't you give me a perception plus subterfuge? Actually, a perception plus stealth roll. Sorry.
May I request? And I know this is uncouth, streetwise.
No.
Oh, okay. Stealth. I have no points in, so I was waving my hand to get the nice.
Go on.
Anyway, 2 successes though.
Oh, okay. Well, that's more than enough. Yeah, while there aren't any alleyways kind of next to the library, there are multiple ones on the street, and you find yourself an alleyway that actually moves around to the back of a building and has kind of a high brick wall on one side, barring it from the next street over. And all that's back here is like a back door to what seems to be a closed down electronics store and a couple of empty dumpsters, and that's it. And you're literally like at an angle from the road that you've just left. So apart from someone literally walking down this alleyway randomly, whether following you or otherwise, no one will see what you're doing back here.
Perfect. Okay. I think I can port us in. So my intended effect is creating a doorway that me and the others can pass through to get in to this place.
So what level of correspondence is creating a doorway?
I believe that's 3.
Okay. And you have 3, right?
Yeah, there's a description in correspondence of like you can make doorways even from afar, and I also have life
absolutely fine
if it's at all.
And you have life. You'd need life 2 to be able to port everyone with you.
Okay, I only have life 1, so not sure if I'm able to then port other people. Will it just be me?
I don't think is it really that strict though, because he's not affecting our patterns. We're just moving through the portal.
I think the way
if he's just creating the portal, yeah.
One of the things that it says is that like if I have life as well, you can like teleport things at a distance from yourself, which I think is suggesting that if I'm like touching people or like carrying them with me, that's easier.
Yeah. I think honestly, like even so, rather than that, if you're opening a doorway and they're just walking through it, then that's then that's fine. So okay, we'll go with that then. So that's correspondence 3. So it is definitely not coincidental. It is definitely vulgar without witnesses.
Yeah.
So that will move you up to difficulty 7. I'm assuming you're using some kind of personalized instrument for this.
Yes. So I'm using my various ribbons and I don't know if my dance is considered an instrument, but that is the sort of approach I'm going to take. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to like take that piece of glass that I've picked up off the floor and mark on the floor like various little X's, which are like places where like marks on a stage, which I have to hit in order to like
your mark. Yeah,
exactly. And then so the style of dance that I'm going to do is just sort of very sort of flowy, and then I'm intending to, as a sort of flourish, make the door.
Sure. Okay, so I'd say you're using a personalized instrument, so that knocks your difficulty down to 6. I would also say you are using sympathetic magic, although not particularly powerful, because like having a book from inside would be the ideal, right? So I think that takes off another 1, right? So you're down to 5. Are you? It is a distant or hidden target or subject, because you cannot currently see it.
Yep.
So that knocks it back up to 6 again.
Yep.
Are you spending any quintessence on this?
I think I probably should. So I am.
You can spend as much quintessence per turn as you have points in Avatar.
Yeah, so Avatar I have 3, so I could spend 3. Maybe I'll spend 2.
Okay.
So that knocks it down.
The difficulty down to 4.
To 4.
Right?
Yeah.
And also you could. If you wanted to spend extra time to do this and kind of turn it into more of a ritual, it sounds like you're doing that, and it's going to take some time to do. And that will allow. I don't strictly have a timer for this story, but I will mentally account if you're taking some time to do something.
Okay.
So if you want, you could take some time and reduce it by another 1. And then I don't know. Or you could like only spend 1 quintessence, but take more time, and then it still be 4. It's up to you.
I've spent my 2 quintessence. I'll take the extra time. Now it's down to 3 difficulty.
3, and that is the minimum it can get to. So,
okay. So let us try it, I guess. So I roll my the highest one, right? So I have to roll 3 dice.
Yeah, you roll arete. So
arete, which is 3 for you, in my case. Cool. And that is 1 success.
That is one success. So the first thing that happens is you just rolled a vulgar. You just carried out vulgar magic, which means you gain 1 point of paradox. So mark that down on your quintessence paradox circle, please.
Circle.
So yeah, as you've said, you've described the process. Why don't you describe the doorway for us?
So I think that the doorway is like I'm like doing these various arcing gestures, and like the ribbon is like following my hand, and then you sort of see that at some point, and it's really hard to perceive when it happens, the ribbon like just traces, and it's just a perfect like arc, and the door is like formed at that point, and just like it's not like the edge is marked out. It's just like reality, and then there's just like a hole in space that has brought these two locations together. Yeah, so that's it's very weird to look at. It kind of looks flat, but not. It's weird.
It absolutely is. Can you see the library through it, or is it more of like a kind of
so the intent is that it just looks like the library has begun in the middle of this alley.
I will tell you this right now, Carolyn. No, you know what? I'll make you roll for it. Can you roll for me, please? Wits plus. Ooh, you know what? I'm going to say, God, can you roll wits plus arete? Probably not. No,
you can do
what?
whatever
Roll
you like.
Wits plus correspondence.
Wits plus correspondence. Okay, so that's
difficulty 5, let's say.
So I'm rolling 6 dice.
Has Pierre been removed from reality? He's corresponded. There he is again.
I have corresponded out of the universe. Yes, I got 5 successes.
Ooh, right. Well, Carolyn, you have only moments to either say something or do something. This doorway is going to collapse as soon as one person has gone through it. You do not have time to do anything. You know what? In fact, not even say. You've got time to either shove someone through it or leap through it yourself, and then it's going to collapse as reality snaps back with a twang.
Okay. How long? Is anyone near me?
I'm going to judge, given the 5, I'm going to say you can either shove someone through the door or throw yourself through it.
Okay, I think I won't shove someone through it. I'll just say, oops, and then I'll just jump through.
Sure. The doorway clips shut with something that sounds like a low musical note, and Carolyn is gone and presumably in the library. You all saw the library through the doorway, but evidently the doorway could not be held open long enough. That was because of one success, by the way.
Sure.
That was both very impressive and also so typically Carolyn.
I'm going to go through the front door to make sure she doesn't burn the rest of it down.
So you're just gonna walk and go in for the front.
This is me saying to the others, I'm going to go in. Do you two think you can find some other way in?
I don't mind just going through the door as long as people aren't looking.
That distraction would probably help.
Yeah, I'm just gonna, while I'm here, no, that'd probably make it more difficult.
It would.
Yeah, I'll walk over with Roth, and as we get into the street, I'm gonna try and increase the likelihood of something along this street making people look away.
Or everyone just looks away coincidentally at the same point, or something like that. Absolutely. But before you do that, let's hop to the library and let's hop to Carolyn Zelrich, please. So, Carolyn, you find yourself in the library, probably on that kind of on the kind of first kind of balcony round, overlooking like that reading area. You're on kind of the far side. You think you just turned up where you saw, which is like the far side from the doorway. So you have turned up kind of on like a slightly charcoaly wooden balcony, looking out down there. Like there's still kind of warmth. You know, it's a warm day anyway, but you can feel kind of heat coming off a huge stack of what was books near you. It doesn't feel dangerous, although there's a definite kind of like creaking and sort of tapping. Like there's a creaking as everything is like warping back into shape. There's dripping all around you that sounds like oddly and uncomfortably echoey in this open space. Like, you know, like someone nearby is just tapping. And you know what? In fact, can you immediately give me, please, a perception plus awareness roll?
Perception plus awareness.
I'll say it's difficulty 7.
Awareness is 1. Perception is 4. So that's 5 dice. Difficulty 7. Oh, that's 10, 9, 1. So that is 1 success.
Okay. As you kind of appear there and look around, like I say, it's a warm day. The sun is kind of half shining through the roof. The sun's at the wrong angle, though, right? So there's just like a shaft of bright light, and below it, it's not like dark, but it's definitely kind of in shadow. And you can feel the heat coming off the stacks. And even though that is the case, Carolyn Zelrech, you suddenly and unconsciously and without any degree of being able to control it, you shiver. A chill runs through you. And that tapping noise of dripping water and the warping of the shelves and the wooden frame of the library around you just seem to take on an uncomfortably malignant tone.
I don't like it in here. I think I'll try and sort of move away from where I currently am. Mm-hmm. Is there any sort of warmer, colder to this? Does it dissipate?
No. You haven't rolled strong enough to have any sense of it's just
something's wrong.
Yeah,
it's bad.
Someone just walked over your grave. That's all.
Yeah,
and it's not like lasting. You're not walking around the place like
it's just this sense of like
uncomfortable. You're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So you could walk around the balcony where you are. You could go up on these larger kind of these tall stacks. You could go down onto the reading floor, which is presumably where your friends might come in if they're coming through the door or whatever. Yeah.
I think I trust them to make it in here. I'm going to, if I look, is there any obvious most burned place? Is there any center?
Yeah, definitely the doorway, like all the front edifice of the building was the most consumed by fire, and it's where the roof has kind of partially collapsed on itself, and you can see like timbers and stone and large panels of glass have smashed into the floor near there.
Okay, I guess I'll sort of head round on the balcony as far towards that as I can and see if I can see anything.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're just like, you saw the image, right? You're just kind of like, it wouldn't be fun to jump down there, but there are stairs down and stuff like that. So yeah, you can absolutely move around like that. As you're doing so, are you just trying to kind of get a sense of the layout of the library and kind of like anything unusual or...
Yeah, and I think... if I get a sense, like, are all of the books ruined is like some information that I'd like to know.
No, they absolutely aren't. A lot of them are burnt. Probably more are smoke damaged. But a great number of them in the stacks you pass are still intact. And there doesn't seem to be like any rhyme or reason to it. It's just clearly the fire perhaps started near the front of the library and spread sporadically before it was put out.
And maybe even
enough
the firefighters.
Enough that certainly this building has received copious quantities of monetary damage. It's a bit of a wreck, but maybe some of it's recoverable. But clearly, no one is interested in recovering it right now. So,
yeah, I'm just sort of interested in like whether I think this fire was started to like destroy a certain thing, or if
sure. Well, why don't you give me a perception plus alertness roll to see what you can spot on your way, on your way further towards the doorway.
I will do that. 6 dice, difficulty 6. 1 success. Not
Okay. Yeah, you don't get any. You know what? You don't read very much from the fire damage of what you can see. As I say, you can detect that it started near the front. I mean, it doesn't look like a targeted attack or anything to you. It just, but you can't really tell much about it at all, honestly. Yeah. What you can see is there's a number of side rooms leading from the ground floor area, kind of underneath you, where you are now, essentially. So there's areas like that, and there are lots and lots of deep, dark stacks of books, and the lanterns that would normally light it are obviously all off. So there's a lot of kind of deep, dark shadows that you're passing, and obviously the sensation you had at the beginning has left you glancing down those maybe a little in a little bit of a paranoid sense. Yeah. Why don't we?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say cut to outside, but is there something quick you want to?
No, I was just saying, like, I am probably just sort of freaked out by things, and yeah, I'm maybe too focused on, the freaking out.
Sure, absolutely. So it seems as Mira is crossing the road, she is going to be carrying out some lovely coincidental magic in order to try and get people to look away more considerably. And I think what we'll probably do, unless you get like a massive success, what we'll probably just do is like this can modify a stealth roll that everyone makes, sort of thing. Does that sound about right?
That's probably more reasonable. Yeah.
Sure. So are we just using like a quite light level of entropy, or is there something specific at level 3 that can kind of affect things like this? Or
I mean, the description between 2 and 3 is actually not that different.
Sure.
Weirdly, because it's like you can direct people and things towards a conclusion of your choice for 2, or at this rank, the mage can also start controlling the fate and fortune of objects and people at 3.
Okay, I think 3 is the way to go here. I think this is like controlling people's, rather than their desires, you're controlling maybe a situation out here on the street, right? So I think that's going to be entropy level 3. It's definitely coincidental, so that's going to be difficulty 6 to begin with. Are we using your coin again? I will say if we keep using the same instruments for things, they're going to stop being quite so effective. But
it is only specifically for like
for entropy,
having good luck, either me or someone else specifically having good luck.
But this is a higher entropy level than the others, so I'm going to want a bit more from you than just playing with the coin. Maybe you need to flip it, or
well, I was actually about to say, So I'm not going to flip it, but I am going to take it off my neck and then just throw it in the air and try and lay eyes on the people that I want to look away.
Sure, absolutely.
And then catch it and then look and see what side it landed on.
Sure.
And depending on what side it lands on will determine whether this is successful.
So that's difficulty 6 to begin with. You're using a personalized instrument, so that's difficulty 5. I would say this has to be fast casting because of the nature of the thing. So that's back up to 6 again. I don't think there's any other effects. So are we spending some quintessence to try and reduce that from difficulty 6?
I think I probably should. I'll probably... I'll go with just 1 for now, because
sure.
It's difficult to regain quintessence. So
it is, unless you've got a node handy. So we're at difficulty 5 then. So why don't you give us a go?
Okay, 2 successes.
That is not bad at all. And you know what we're going to do? That's a standard feat there. So let's say that is definitely influencing everyone. So what I'm going to say is I would like, you know what? And I'm going to say that definitely gets you. You know, as you cross over the street, let's say that you hear a kind of like a slight grinding noise, and one of those, I don't know if you've ever heard someone rear end another vehicle before, but that kind of like just soft crunch noise, and you hear a kind of hey. sort of noise from someone. It's not New York, but we're still going with that. Noise as someone protests, the destruction of the bumper of their vehicle, and everyone kind of looks round. And at that precise point, you kind of just, with a slight hop of the barricade, you are through the front door to the library. For the other two of you, what I'm going to say is I would like either a dexterity or wits plus stealth roll, please, at difficulty 5.
So as I am making this, I'm more used to drawing the veil of the forest around me when I'm hunting, but even in a city, I can still do the same sort of I have arcane basically.
Right,
which
yes,
makes
of
me
course. So you can
slightly
do things
more unnoticeable.
Some more unnoticeable, so you can. Arcane just straight up adds to stealth rolls, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How did we do? Difficulty 5.
Let's take out that one and take out that one. 2 successes.
More than enough. You're fine. How do you do, Chris?
Difficulty 5, I get 0 successes.
Okay, that's fine. So Roth, you kind of sidle up and just slip through just behind Mira. Charlie, you do the same, but you have like a little rucksack on, right?
Yeah.
It gets caught, just gets hooked on one of the ends of the barricade, and as you kind of just pull it out, one of the gorpers by the barricades just kind of turns around, and basically you're absolutely dead sure that they saw you go in and just kind of went, oh. Not in a threatening way or anything, but they definitely saw you go in. Anyone who has gone in through the front entrance, you have a big mound of stone and wood and sharp glass rubble to clamber over before you can get to the main area. And you can see Carolyn kind of up on the wooden rail balcony surrounding the kind of sunken central reading area. You can smell the charcoal and burning and kind of like burnt parchment and burnt paper, and you can hear that kind of the creaking and the tapping of the dripping water. Yeah, there you are in the library.
Does this look like a dangerous pile of rubble, or is this just something we can circumvent?
It'll definitely take some clambering. It doesn't look like a horrible, life-threatening situation, but it's going to be a roll. Let me put it that way.
Okay, I think I was definitely seen coming in.
Well, let's get over the mound and out of sight then.
Do we want to take this carefully or quickly? I'd rather do the former.
Carefully is fine. This is just like a pile of rubble, though, so we can go reasonably quickly for this bit.
Just mind the glass.
Yeah, mind the glass.
Sure. So anyone who needs to clamber over that, please can you give me either dexterity or wits, plus I think it's going to have to be athletics. Difficulty is going to be just flat, normal, 6. 2 and 3 successes, nice.
Come on, Roth.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Charlie maybe is I think it's safe to say the lightest and smallest member of the group. Kind of scampers over it like a true goonie, and drops to the other side over this pile of stone and wood and shards of glass. And Mira and Roth not far behind, and you find yourself rather more miraculously on the other side of it, with no one having turned an ankle or taken a cut on their hand. But now you're in the center area of the library under kind of the shadow that's cast as the sun doesn't fully come through that glass roof yet. I think I am more than happy for all 3 of you to now roll perception plus awareness, please. Difficulty 7, I believe it was for Carolyn.
I love watching the different expressions.
1
2
from
on
Rob.
that. Would have been a much better roll were it not for the difficulty.
No successes, alas.
Okay, well, Mira, you don't. The goth kid doesn't feel anything's wrong. And Roth, you will have the same sensation as Carolyn, kind of like a shiver down your spine. Charlie, not only do you kind of, as you're standing there and kind of looking around, you have you ever had this, Chris, or has anyone else had this? You don't see something out of the corner of your eye. You don't hear anything. You don't. There's nothing there, but you still just find yourself going. You're certain there was something over there.
Something's up. Something is immediately up.
The place you thought that something, your senses, not your usual ones, just told you there was something there, and it is a doorway off the side of the reading area into some kind of dark chamber or room, but I'm trying to make it sound spooky.
I feel like this particular library earns the title chamber more than it earns the title room.
Yeah.
Have you you've made yourself visible, Karen? Was that way of trying to get our attention?
Yeah, from the first first floor.
Can I beckon you down then?
And I'll sort of make my way as quickly and quietly in the same direction.
That's our number there. That doorway.
Is there any like stairway that heads towards there, or will I have to go way out of my way?
No, you can come down a set of stone steps right near you to be basically with the others.
Okay, I'll join them.
And was this dark chamber like? Is it dark and creepy, or is it just poorly lit?
I mean, you cannot see inside it, so
in which case, yeah, I'll go and have a look.
Yeah, it seems to open like what you can see of this room. It seems to be just like an administration room, maybe. You can see like a desk in there and some shelves on the side, and maybe a little floor plan on the wall. But you can't see too far into the room because, as I say, it's completely unlit, and there's not much light coming down from the roof. And there's kind of the drips of because the water is mostly sloshing around on that wooden kind of like balcony, and it's kind of coming down, not in an entire sheet, but it's kind of dripping down quite concertedly over the doorway. So kind of going through it is definitely going to get you a bit damp.
I don't know about you guys, but this place is creepy as hell.
Yep, that's the job.
I don't know. I quite like it. Other than, they're being burnt. That's kind of unfortunate. But, yeah.
Surely that would just help the overall color scheme for you.
Yeah, that's fair.
Did anyone bring a flashlight?
No. Actually, hang on. And I'm going to have a root around in my rucksack. Now, I emptied my entire top drawer into this rucksack.
You did?
I guarantee with the amount of incense and other candles burning, I probably have a lighter.
Oh yeah, I'm happy for you to have lighters or anything. If anyone thinks they may have a chance of having like a flashlight or something, then I'll let you make a roll for it. But yeah, anyone who wants can have like a lighter or something.
Yeah.
I have an incense stick.
That doesn't give out much light.
These are bold requirements for 4 mages, some of whom have forces about to step in a darkened chamber.
Yeah, I was about to think, I could bend the light out of the sky to try and like see into this room, and then I thought that seems pretty.
No one wants a palm full of fire or something.
I'm trying to. I don't know if I have enough forces to conjure fire, because I only have forces 2, and that's manipulating existing forces.
Okay.
But
maybe no one has a lighter, huh?
That's why I was looking for one, but yeah.
I was trying to figure out how much time I would need to pick up a charred piece of wood, and because it had been on fire, reset it on fire.
Oh, wind it back with time.
Yeah, but I only have
Time
time level 1, so I
3.
don't.
Do you have
remember.
life as well?
Yeah.
Because it's organic matter, so
I have life 3, time 1, and forces 2.
time 1 won't do it.
Yeah, no.
way.
Forces 2 gives you a good enough chance of just creating some light, though. You've no prime, though, do you?
No, I don't.
I mean, if you did want to go down, I am happy for someone to just roll for a flashlight if they want. If you did want to have, like, you know, like a little lit, like, hand of fire or little fire bobbing alongside you or whatever, Forces 2 lets you manipulate stuff, and someone else has a lighter.
Yeah, I could do that because I've got Forces 2. So what I may do is I'll take out my lighter and I will try and light it and then transfer that flame into my hand and make it bigger.
Sure. So
Not
why
massive,
don't you give me the lowdown on Forces 2, just so we can make
Forces
sure
2 manipulate forces. So you can, although you can't conjure energies, you can alter the flow of existing forces. So you can warp light to make things invisible, disrupt electrical currents, flare flames, etc.
Yeah, I think this is doable. It might require some successes here.
Yeah, no, that's what I was
but
imagining.
yeah. But absolutely for sure. So this is vulgar without witnesses.
Yeah,
So
it's a pity that my raven has decided to leave because, yeah, they're useful at this bit.
sure. They have come back by now if they were investigating.
It's all right if they haven't. It's like there's 1 point of paradox unless I botch horribly, but you know.
Yeah, you know what? I'll it isn't too much. You know what? I think it's reasonable that he's still investigating.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
For now, we'll leave him flapping over Cincinnati. But vulgar without witnesses means it's going to be, so that's Forces 2, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So that's going to be difficulty 6. Are you using a personalized instrument for it? The lighter is fine.
Yeah, the lighter, I'm imagining like an engraved Zippo kind
Skull,
of a thing.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that knocks us down to 5. This is forces. That's interesting. So no, I'm just considering something. It's fine. Are you fast casting this, or are you taking your time with it?
No, I'll take some. This is fire. I don't want to.
Sure, absolutely. Any points of quintessence? You're on difficulty 5 at the moment, I believe.
I am on difficulty 5. No.
Or a willpower point.
I'm going to save my willpower and my quintessence.
Okay, so just a difficulty 5 roll, please.
Okay, cool. 2 successes.
And that was what I wanted you to get for it. I'll never give you the amount of successes you need for magic, by the way, for the effect you're going for. But yeah, you can absolutely kind of, light your lighter up and transfer the flame over to your hand. It's only a little, like, you haven't really grown the flame very much, but it's definitely enough to kind of dimly illuminate the room. And I take it we're going in and having a look.
Could I also roll for a flashlight?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Multiple things would be very handy.
Yes.
So why don't we give you what would be an appropriate role here? Yeah, let's say intelligence plus survival, but I'm going to push the difficulty quite high because I think, so we're going to say a difficulty 8.
That makes sense. I'm rolling 6 dice. I think this is the chance I probably wouldn't because I knew I was coming here in the daytime, but difficulty 8, you say?
I do say that.
That is 2 9s and a 1 and other stuff, so 1 success.
1 success. I'm going to say that you have like a pen light.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So it doesn't do much, but it is something. And yes, as you said in private chat, Holly, absolutely you get a point of paradox for that. All vulgar magic comes with at least 1 point of paradox, even if you succeed.
I light my incense stick off of Myra's hand flame.
Sure, yeah.
And just sort of wave it around.
Yeah. Okay. So the four of you proceeding into this dark chamber. Inside, as I said, it's an administrative room. Someone's has clearly been here recently. There's some paperwork still kind of scattered on the desk. There's a couple of filing cabinets in the room. There's a couple of shelves of books which seem to be like kind of old kind of librarian's logs. There's various kind of stacks of office supplies. And there's also two other doorways leading out. One kind of directly ahead to where you came in, and one off to the side. And you can still obviously like the drumming of the water on the reading room ground is still behind you.
I'm going to open my bag and take out a couple of sticks of chalk, and I'm going to start sketching some symbols out on the ground, kind of quite lightly, not something that could be erased. But
Sure.
setting up for a magic roll the next time.
I think I sort of briefly glance around, and then I want to check out the next room. So I head towards there.
Which one? Sorry, though. So there are two. I mean, there's three exits technically, but you came through one of them. There's a doorway over to in front of you, and a doorway over to the right. They both have similar kind of like cheap-looking wooden doors in that are just kind of mildly ajar.
I'll go to the one on the right.
Okay. You open that, and it is a supply closet. There are a number of cleaning supplies in there, and further office supplies and the like, and a kind of battered old like water fountain, like a drinking like an office water water cooler. That's what the term I'm looking for. That appears to be kind of broken and is tipped over on the side. Nothing in here is burnt, incidentally, or kind of anything like that. And that burning smell is kind of fading away a little bit from around you all.
Okay. And this whole area is not burnt, not just the supply closet, or just like this whole administrative area.
Yeah, it's all clear. Like it's all
Cool.
The fire did not reach here.
I'll check out the other door.
Okay. The other door has a set of wooden steps leading down.
Huh. Myra, not that I'm nervous or anything, but would you mind bringing the fire over here?
Oh, you want light to go into the dark basement of the burnt down Gothic library? Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. Thanks.
Yeah. Is everyone proceeding in this direction alongside Carolyn and Myra?
If Charlie's finished.
Yeah, I think once I've noticed that there's kind of the story doesn't end at this room, I'll have kind of lost interest and started moving towards the doorway as well.
Sure. So as we're making are we trying for I'm just speculating here, are we trying for anything kind of stealth wise, or are we just kind of proceeding down these steps as safely as we can with the relatively limited light we have?
Sure, yeah. If Carolyn looks to want to approach this stealthily, I will.
Yeah,
I'm just try.
I'm just a bit spooked and nervous. I'm feeling a bit freaked out by this place.
Sure. So as you kind of proceed down these steps, as I said, they're wooden stairs, and every single step you make on them, kind of you feel the frame of the stairwell underneath you rattle in its setting, and every single step is kind of a low, like a long, low, almost like after a while it feels like the stairwell is in pain at your passage as you make your way down, further down than you would have thought. You think you may have gone down past one basement and into a further sub-basement. The stone of the wall gives way to brick, and before long you emerge out into what seems to be a very large sub-basement, maybe the length and width of the entire library itself, full of yet more stacks of wooden shelves of books laid out in long, straight, crossed rows, very, very neat and organized. There are a number of sort of desks set around, some of which seem to have had people maybe sat at them relatively recently. But it has to be said, even with a couple of steps into it, you can see that kind of the drifting of motes of dust in the air that indicates, even if people have been down here recently, a lot less people come down here than frequent the library above, that's for sure. Can everyone please give me a charisma plus awareness roll, please? Just standard. And make keep your die results open after you tell me how many successes you get, because we might need a tiebreaker.
3
for Carolyn, 3 for Charlie. Okay, Carolyn and Charlie, did either of you roll a 10?
No, 996.
Charlie did. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Carry on.
Okay.
As soon as we're kind of on the floor again, I'll immediately have the chalk out and be kind of repeating the work I was doing above.
Mm-hmm. But are we kind of proceeding into like there is? It's safe to say all of you roll successes, right?
Yeah.
As you all kind of take a couple of steps into this sub-basement, the temperature drops. Like more than you would expect. Like down here in summer, it should be, maybe it would be cooler, but wouldn't it feel a bit muggy and a bit, I don't know.
Seems a bit sudden.
Is this the kind of thing that I would be vaguely familiar with, given, my whole thing?
I don't know. Have you actually had kind of many spirit or ghost-based experiences?
Well, I've got like 3 in occult, and I would imagine
But that's book
even if she hasn't had direct experiences,
yeah, sure,
it's definitely one of her.
I'm perfectly happy with you being familiar with the notion that
Yeah.
ghostly areas have low temperatures.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've seen America's Most Haunted. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Was America's Most Haunted on in 1995?
In the World of Darkness, certainly.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I will keep going, but slightly more cautiously, and I am purposefully trying to look in the corner of my eye, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. And the others of you kind of staying behind Mira as she's walking forward with the kind of handful of flame, which I'm assuming you're keeping very far away from books.
Is that everything all right? Are we good?
Can I just get a moment of everyone's time, if that's okay, before we move too deep?
Yeah.
Charlie has sketched a kind of a circle. Anyone kind of interested, like you've seen a magic circle before, and this looks like a magic TM circle. There's some runes or some symbols inside it that are absolutely real magic with a K and a capital M rather than just kind of nominal magic. Charlie's kind of sat in the middle and has kind of unpacked a couple of other bits and pieces. A little kind of like a stage light frame with a kind of green gel across it, and just some other bits and pieces kind of around the floor. It's just, I think it might be worthwhile seeing if we can make contact with any other presences locally.
I'm game, sure.
You set up a seance.
It's not. It's more science than seance, but yeah, more or less.
You're doing this at the base of the stairs?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just going to... the role I want to do is... the magical effect I want is to give myself a clearer view of what supernatural forces are here, and if there is any spirits I can communicate with to open a dialogue. because I can do
Okay.
that with Spirit 2. The spheres I'm going to use are obviously Spirit 2 to contact the spirits, Correspondence 1 to give me a good knowledge of the structure of
To
here.
expand it
and,
out to the nearby area rather than just where you are right now. Sure.
And Prime, I suppose, is the glue between those two things, just to kind of...
You don't need to use Prime.
It's
you don't need to use Prime. You don't need
I
to
spent
use
so
Prime.
many points on it.
But it's not applicable, so you don't need to use it.
Infinite Prime.
But okay, so Spirit 2 is just like detecting and possibly communicating with spirits.
Spirit 2 is definitely communicating with spirits, and detection as well.
Sure.
1 is detection, actually.
Okay, well, this is obviously vulgar magic. So you are... so the highest sphere there is 2, right?
Yeah.
And correspondence is to extend it out. Yep. So that is going to be difficulty 6. Your personalized instruments there. You said you had like a light frame. Did that fit in your rucksack?
No, it's not. It's not big. You know this. I know them because I've worked stage for a bit. But like a little kind of square that you put gels in. You'll always have one or two of them floating around.
Yeah. Where's the power coming from?
It's not. It's not designed to be illuminated. It's more like it's pretty vulgar. It's just a focus I'm going to look through.
Oh, okay.
It's vision.
Oh, I see. Like you're looking through. Oh, okay. Like it's your steampunk ghost detector. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, 100%.
Because I was tempted to give you opposed resonance for making a magic circle with chalk, because that's super not Society of Ether. But like if you've got your magic metal gel ghost detector thing, yeah, go for it. So I think we said so it was going to be difficulty 6. This is you're using a personalized instrument, so that's difficulty 5. I am going to put... I'm not going to tell you about what the malice is from, but I'm going to put it up to difficulty 6. And you know what? I'm actually going to say you're distracted because everyone rolled awareness. Okay. So you're spooked out. So let's push it up to difficulty 7. Are you spending any quintessence or willpower? I'm assuming you're not fast casting.
I feel like I'm on the stage here, so I'm actually going to put a willpower in on this one.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So that gives you an automatic success, and we're still at difficulty. I think we said difficulty 7, right?
Yeah, I think I'll put also I can also put a point of quintessence in.
Yeah, you absolutely can. Yeah, so difficulty 6. You've already got 1 success. Go for it.
Add another 2 successes to that.
Okay, absolutely. So you kind of... why don't you describe the actual the actual magic you're carrying out to me? Why don't you tell us what it looks like for the others?
So Charlie is there's quite a lot of geometry in the kind of little chalk lines he's sketched out, and he's brought all these kind of lines and intersecting patterns to this little frame in the middle. And he also has the little magnifying glass you've seen him use before, and he's kind of inspecting the lines and the frame of it. And eventually, looking quite proud of himself, he brings the little filter up and kind of peers through it, looking to see what can be seen on the other side. And you're on mute.
What you're looking at is obviously both green tinged and very dim through the frame that you're looking through. But as you're passing it across the library, you see that after a short amount of time, almost everything seems to be tinged with this, almost like the green almost seems to peel away, and everything is tinged with a kind of odd monochrome, senses dulling, kind of not a muddiness, a clarity that seems to bleed color and life out of the world. You almost feel like you've opened up a portal and are viewing through into another library, one adjacent to this one somehow cosmologically. Everything seems to be in a further state of decay and disrepair, and ever so quickly you see a glimpse of a small figure running between the stacks for just a heartbeat, and then in a voice that doesn't seem to come from any particular direction, and you can't tell how far or how close it is to you, says, "Charlie."
Hello, we're here to help.
I can't find my book.
What was it called?
I can't find my book.
Who wrote it?
Come help me look.
Okay, we're coming. So I'll kind of stand up and kind of move see if I can find that little creature again, or that little figure.
Sure.
Kind of summon everyone else behind me, and
Absolutely.
I lean close.
None of
to-
the other of you heard any of those voices, by the way.
Yeah. We just see Charlie moving off.
I lean close to Mira as we all fall in behind Charlie and ask, "Is this a good idea?"
Probably not, but I'm loving it either way. This is this is good vibes.
Point of paradox, Charlie, obviously.
oh yes, thank you. Well, not thank you, but
So I'm assuming we're following Charlie kind of starting to walk forward through the stacks. The others of you kind of definitely, you don't, you can, as you're proceeding further through the sub-basement, you feel kind of other chills kind of passing through you, and definitely a sense of discomfort, but you cannot see or hear anything that Charlie seems to be detecting. Charlie, as you move closer, again, you can see kind of this monochrome, desaturated, decayed effect of everything around you as you're kind of moving and kind of looking round. You don't. Well, why don't you give me another roll, please? Why don't you give me a wits plus awareness roll here, and let's make this a difficulty 7 for now. Was that a no?
it wasn't a botch, but it was no successes.
Okay. So you find yourself quite quickly in the middle of these stacks. That none of your lights cast out far enough for you to be able to see the walls on either side. And you have been walking, I'd say, within these stacks now for a couple of minutes. You're thoroughly lost, and you have no idea where this figure went. You can't hear them, you can't see them.
Okay, I think I'll. Oh, they got away. A book has been taken, I feel, and a spirit guarding this place once it returned.
Or maybe it was burned.
Maybe, I don't know. Can we, Carolyn? Can you figure out if something was taken?
I could have a look into the past. I could try and see if
you can absolutely do that, but if you're trying to rewind the history of the library and confidentially be able to tell if any books have ever been stolen from it, I think that might be beyond your ability. But
yeah, it would like, I'll say to Charlie, do we know roughly where this book was?
I feel, sorry to interrupt, but I feel that two people are involved in this conversation. Roth and Mira, can you give me a wits plus alertness roll, please? Let's say this is difficulty 8. Obviously, you can pay willpower or whatever.
That's my first botch.
Well, that's good because you weren't rolling this.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
We're just distracted having
you're
this
talking.
conversation. We're going
2 from Mira. There we go. None from Roth.
I rolled 7 dice and nothing.
2 will do it. clearly taking in the enjoying the environment as any good 90s goth would. Mira, you're kind of there, kind of Charlie and Carolyn are talking, and you're kind of, you get, Charlie's basically saying that, you know, he's lost whatever he found, and as he does so, you kind of look around and sort of like, you're, as I say, you're kind of enjoying this environment, and you're kind of taking note of it and kind of like noting what's changed and what hasn't. And that, obviously, the burning smell has long gone away by now, but and it just registers. You can still hear all that dripping water is still upstairs. Somewhere nearby.
Okay. Can I'll probably say to the others, I can hear a drip over this way. Can we all head over that way? Just so we don't get separated. I wouldn't want you guys to get lost.
Yeah. Good lead.
It's worth noting you're not sure that tap is a drip now.
Yeah. No, I'm certain that it probably isn't a drip, but yeah.
I'll kind of put my hand on Myra's shoulder, kind of as much for me as for her, because even I'm getting spooked out now. And I'll continue to try and see how much longer I can get out of this device I've put together.
So we're trying to navigate through the darkened stacks towards the tapping noise, right?
Yeah.
And I think Mira's taking the lead on this, right? So why don't we have a perception plus investigation roll, I think, is what we'll go for here. Just normal difficulty, I think.
3 successes.
Yeah, you have locked on to that noise, and you turn corners in the stacks. Charlie, still trying to kind of perceive around you, but not catching any more glimpses of that figure. And together, you emerge into a space where essentially the arrangement of the stacks has led to, just by how they're arranged and the relatively different lengths of them, they're not all uniform, and it's led to this area in between the stacks where there's a bit more open room to it. And in the center of this area, your lights dimly illuminate what seem to be a couple of very battered, very old, and honestly slightly rotting old cushions. And in the center of the area near the cushions is an extinguished candle. And next to that on the floor is a book that you can see from the like quite gaudy but very old image on the front of children's adventure stories, which as you emerge and the kind of light rolls over this with one last, the cover closes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll probably just like put my hand in front of Charlie just to make sure that he doesn't like keep walking, and then just say, that wasn't a drip. Whoever's here has presumably been either reading through or has just been playing with the cover of that book on the floor. Can you see anything there, or have they gone?
Once again, I'll turn to my thing and kind of, in the spirit tongue, go, did we find it? Is this your book?
I take it you're kind of panning across as you do that and kind of looking around the area. Sure. Why don't you give me a wits plus awareness roll, please? Standard difficulty. Because you rolled a good few successes on that roll, so I think your device is still working here.
Oh, just one success, but just 10s and 1s all over the place.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say then you're standing there for a while and going, and kind of panning across, and kind of you can see your friend's kind of presence almost as like a but they're kind of like a shadowy blur, as if they're not quite here in whatever world you seem to be peeking through to, but still visible there. And you pan across and you pan back, and then you hear it again, the voice, Charlie, and you realize you were looking at 4 people. And with for a moment, your heart stops, and the dimmer shape at the edge of the light, which you took to be a blurry form again, moves forward just ever so slightly, and the shadows peel back and over the form of a young boy, maybe 10 or so years of age, dressed in very old-fashioned clothes. He looks thin and wan and not quite there. The other 3 of you cannot see this, or hear, or anything.
Is this the book? We're here to help.
No. My book's gone.
Who took it?
The other boys. But they're gone now. They're gone. He reaches up and kind of feels at his mouth oddly, like almost like he's checking his teeth are there.
And what was it called? What was the book called? We'll help you find it.
You can't. It's gone. Sometimes I forget that it's gone. I don't want to forget. I don't want to forget anymore, or everything will go away.
When did it go? Was it last night?
No.
Was it with the fire?
No. It was a long, long time ago. The boys took it, the other ones. He looks around. They're gone. They're gone. They got taken away. In the fire.
In the fire.
They're gone now. They're gone. They're gone.
We're going to try and find it.
You can't find it. But it's okay. I can read again now. They're not here to stop me. They were taken away.
Who took them?
Pulled away by a man. Scary man. Almost as scary as them.
Last night.
He said he needed them somewhere else.
How many were there? How many children?
The others. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them. But they're gone. I can read.
Well, enjoy your books. We will try and solve this mystery of where and what this man wanted.
If you see the other boys, don't let them come back. He steps back into the shadows and is gone from your vision.
Okay. Oh, that's the first time I think I've spoken to a ghost. The book that he had lost isn't the thing we're looking for. There were 5 other, probably spirits, that were taken recently. I think that's what we're interested in. They were taken by a man, and they were taken away from here. I think they are dangerous.
Scary, man. And you did say during the fire.
Yeah, and I think they may have been taken during the recent fire.
Well,
Okay.
but I mean,
We only came to the library to look for one thing.
I think maybe that one thing is the thing that was keeping this place in equilibrium, or some state of equilibrium. I believe it is now thoroughly haunted.
so I mean, I can see if I can see anything. See if I can see a man. I assume he came down here.
If this is where the other spirits were, then yeah, you can see what happened here last night when the fire was happening.
Maybe even get a look at his face. Maybe.
That would be
I think in the interest of ensuring separation of effects, Charlie seems to be getting control of himself again after being thoroughly spooked. Maybe in the upper chamber we can see if he came or went during the conflagellation last night. I don't.
And presumably, if the fire had something to do with it, then
Up
being
where
in
the
the
fire
area
was.
of the fire would perhaps help, or not. Maybe
Yeah.
it was down here. This ghost is down here.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense.
The idea
Either
of
way,
carrying out some kind of protracted magic down here is a lot less appealing than up there.
Also,
It's
with
you're
my-
still.
yeah,
you know,
with my style of magic as well, like
it would absolutely be opposed resonance for you to be doing a happy dance.
Yeah, it's really not expression of joy
Sure.
via movement. No.
Yeah.
Let's get back up to the office room. I'm proud of myself, but terrified.
Yeah, you're amazing, but you're incredibly pale.
I passed Charlie one of the protein bars.
No, that's you might have just saved my life. Whatever life means.
Okay. Is there anything else we want to do as we're leaving here, or as we're heading out from this haunted level below the library, or are we just getting out of here and back up to the burnt remains of the central hall?
Mira's probably just going to steal a last glance at the book that she saw being moved by spirits and just go, no, another time. I'll make notes.
Sure. So you head on back up, and as soon as you find the stairs quite easily. Just walk out in one direction and follow the wall round, and you head up through the up kind of the stairs, those creaking, rattling stairs, and up out through the office and into the hall. Are you? So am I right in saying that Caroline is going to attempt to use some kind of magic, time-based magic, in order to catch a glimpse of what happened here yesterday? That's correct, right?
That's my intention. Yeah.
Okay. Where are you doing this? Because if you're doing it near the main point of where the conflagration seems to have been, it will be within sight of maybe people looking in. Now, these are things that only you will see, because I'm assuming you're not wanting to project it around for everyone to see, because that would be crazy vulgar for no reason. So I kind of think it'll still be coincidental, but I think you might attract some attention if you do it there. But that, if you're trying to get a sight of what happened with the fire, that's definitely the easiest place to do it in. Otherwise, the magic will be more difficult because you'll have to be projecting it to a different, starting to use correspondence and stuff.
I think part of me is I could use correspondence to do it from a distance, and then the other part of me is this is a spectacular space for dance.
Yeah, it is
enormous room.
Yeah. And this paved floor of the reading area will be kicking up all sorts of spray of water, and it'll be very dramatic.
I know. Yeah. Okay. I'm doing it in the main room.
Sure, absolutely. Well, why don't you tell us how you're setting up this this piece of magic that you're doing?
So I think what I would do is take some of the chairs that people use as like reading chairs and sort of arrange them like a stage for a performance.
Sure.
And then and then I'll take out of one of my pockets some sort of a pair of dancing shoes, one of which looks like it's like weathered and beaten and on its last legs, and the other one which is like newer than new, fresh as hell. And then I'll put like one of them on one foot, on the other one on the other foot. And then that's my preparation for my dance.
Absolutely. And then why don't you tell us what kind of dance this looks like? What's the dance that looks through time?
The dance that looks through time
Other
is
than a lost Lovecraft story.
It starts at like a certain pace and then increases and decreases, and like it has like very altering rhythms. So while the previous one was sort of flowy and large, this one focuses on smaller movements repeated at different speeds.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Roth, John.
Could I, as Carolyn is putting her shoes on, try and basically stop light from inside, like making the inside look too dark,
Look
for
darker.
things to be seen?
Okay. That's probably forces, right?
Yes.
By reducing light.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's give that a go. That's nice. So that is that coincidental? Yeah, it's coincidental. It could be the cloud on a bright cloudless day. I think that's vulgar. I think that's vulgar with witnesses.
Ooh.
People are looking in. If it suddenly just gets dark in there and it's a cloudless bright day outside, you know?
It's true.
I think it's vulgar with witnesses.
That doesn't make sense. That's not how even fake physics works.
I mean, you could go the other way and make it blindingly bright. But
Oh, that would be different.
That's not helping.
It still doesn't mean it's not. You know, if you do it in the right way and have the right modifiers, it can still be a relatively low roll with a pretty low chance of botching or something.
Could I, instead of making it dark, try and curve the light so that instead of seeing wherever Caroline is, it'll be like a mirror just suddenly tilted?
Yeah, like reduce the chance. Yes. The point
that
is,
be
if people are
less,
looking in and something changes in front of their eyes, I think
Yeah.
it's vulgar with witnesses.
You're not vocalizing any of this yet, are you?
I'm currently just standing by the doorway, looking very thoughtful.
You can do vulgar with witnesses stuff. It's there on the and you only really like doing vulgar with witnesses. If you succeed, it's still only 1 point of paradox. It's if you botch it that's a problem, and
That's
you can
what
get
I'm worried
around the
about.
botching problem pretty damn easily by just spending a point of willpower.
That's true.
Although, as we found when we re-looked up, I think when I said that willpower successes cannot be removed with botches, we couldn't find that anywhere. So I think they maybe can be. Maybe. If anyone knows out there in chat or comment land, let us know. But we double checked that and couldn't find that as a rule. So,
but then again, isn't a botch when you roll 0 successes? So if you get one with willpower,
yeah. So if you get one with willpower, then you can't
get a botch.
In our old mistaken system, it would still apply, but this doesn't. Yeah, so you can guarantee not a botch if you roll willpower.
Okay.
In which case, it's only a point of paradox if you succeed, and if you fail, it's nothing. Failed magic doesn't have any paradox at all. It's only if you botch.
Okay, I'm going to give that a try.
Okay, then. Well, then it's vulgar with witnesses. What level is adjusting stuff with forces? That's forces 2, right?
I believe so, yes.
Bending light and stuff like that. So yeah, that's going to be difficulty 7.
Okay.
Are you using a personalized instrument?
I was going to use my torch, as in to like essentially grasp the light and physically gently move it.
Oh, that's
That's pretty cool. I like that. So that moves you down to difficulty 6. If you want to do this in time for Carolyn's thing, it's going to be fast casting.
Yeah.
So that moves it back up to 7. I don't think there's any resonance difficulties. I don't think you're distracted up here. Do you want to spend any quintessence to reduce the difficulty?
I don't have an awful lot of quintessence.
And you ain't getting any unless you find a node of some kind.
Well, I've got
Or
one in
we
the
tap
bank.
into that task. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you do have the TAS. Did we say it
But
was
we
1?
are-
I didn't. I don't think I told you how much quintessence is in that TAS
I can't remember off the top of my head.
because I didn't tell you. So it's not 1. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I will spend quintessence.
Okay, so your difficulty 6 then,
6.
please. And yeah, if
Okay.
you do this, if you do it successfully, yeah.
And I will spend a willpower to have
A guaranteed
one
success.
spare.
Sure,
So I just
go for it.
roll Arete, which is 3.
Difficulty 6.
1 success. So 2
2
successes.
successes. That's what I was basically going to. If you 1 success, I was basically just going to reduce the likelihood that Carolyn will be seen. 2, I'm absolutely fine with that. Like you see the people outside, kind of the gorpers and people passing, kind of going and kind of peering to kind of like something seems, it's suddenly got dark in there. What the hell? And appearing inside while Carolyn carries out her dance of time. So as I think we said, so this is coincidental, and you are using time 2, so it's 5. You're using a personalized instrument, so it's 4. Thank you. This is very handy that you do this. I don't think there's any resonance. If you were doing your happy dance downstairs, there'd definitely be opposed resonance, but not so much here. You're not fast casting. Are you taking extra time? Ironically, is it a long dance?
I think it's important enough that I should, so I will.
So that moves us down to 3, which is the minimum it can be. I don't think there's any more modifiers, so I wouldn't spend quintessence because it won't help you.
Cool.
You can spend willpower if you want.
So it's difficulty 3,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty important. So I will spend a willpower to get at least 1 success. And so yeah, I'll roll my 3 arete, and I will.
It's Greek. So
I got 2 additional successes, so that's 3 total successes.
Sure. Carolyn, you've described the dance to us, and as you do so, is it fair to say that you kind of almost go slightly kind of out of body as you do this, right? Everything drifts away, and there's just the rhythms and the sway of your arms and your body. You can kind of almost feel your hair. Maybe would you think you would have unbound your hair to add to the effect? You can kind of feel your hair trailing behind you in the air as everything around seems to take on a slightly like an after effects sense. And the faster you dance and the more you move, that kind of judders forwards and then starts to retract. And it's not like the world is rewinding around you, and it's more that you just see these kind of like hazy glimpses of the past unfurling around you, like everything is just duplicated 1,000 million times on each side, and you're just moving your body through those duplications until you find the right point, and then you do. And it's quite an intimidating point to find yourself in, because in the hazy blur of the library around you, a kind of as kind of the distance and memory of the thing kind of fades, and you're kind of grasping the elements of it and pulling them back towards reality, even if only for a moment for your own viewing. You find yourself surrounded by murky orange and yellow flame. You can see a couple of people kind of sprawled out on the library floor. And it's not that you see them in slow motion, but you just receive the information sporadically. So you can tell that they're kind of like diving and crawling away from where flames are bursting out near the doorway. Everything, even within the sense of this fragment of time, seems to judder and slow, as if time itself within this vision is being affected. You get the distinct impression someone here was playing with time. And then you see them writhing, seething, curling out through the floor, through the stone and ceramic panels on the floor, distorted, awful, horrible forms being dragged out from their lair below, dragged up and leashed, curling around into figures of obeisance, figures of servitude to another form standing in the center of the flames, a form cowled, robed, and hooded in dark, shadowy, deep green robes of a material you can't quite make out, maybe not a material of physical form, and under the hood, nothing that you can see but darkness. And for a moment, and this moment is what causes you to kind of falter in your dance and to break out of your trance and get pitched back into your own time. For a moment, that head turns, Carolyn, and looks at you. And it's a little early, but I think that is a very good point on which to end the session. So,
think the paradox may have got to Pierre.
oh
no.
The paradox got to Pierre to the point where he had to leave. Did you take a point of paradox for your light bendingness, John? Thank you.
Yes.
Cool. I hope Pierre heard the end there. Otherwise, that diminished. But it's fine. Everyone else did. So, yeah, our session ends there. If you've got any comments or questions, folks, please sling them into the chat and we will address them before we hop off stream. In the meantime, there's some promo to do. Links down below. There's links to Twitch and to YouTube. You're watching on one, please check out the other. Watch us live on Twitch and watch our vast archives on YouTube. We also have links to our there he is. We thought Paradox had claimed you.
It had.
Did you get the end there?
You were just building up to it, and I was like, and then boom, internet gone. But...
Okay. Well, the end, in case you didn't, I don't know if you ended. So I was kind of like saying that you were being pitched back to your own time. Did you?
No, I did not get that. So there was
in the moments before, you were like jolted, your dance faltered, you like took a misstep and were jerked back into your own time, your own reality. And the thing that caused that was, as you saw this figure in the draping green robes, they turned and looked at you.
This is hilarious. I will catch it on the pod. It happened again.
Unbelievable.
I am traveling through time.
Unbelievable.
Every time you mention time travel.
Then I'll do it without the atmospheric stuff, Pierre. You were shocked out of your dancing magic because the figure turned and looked at you.
Oh, no. No.
There we go.
Bad.
There we go. Anyway, promo, links below, YouTube, Twitch, social media, Discord, Patreon. They're all lovely. Go check them out. We run 3 streams a week. Shadows of Estrin, which is normally on a Monday, will be on the Tuesdays for the next 2 weeks. Simbaroom, which is on Wednesday, and Cincinnati Chronicles here, which is on Thursdays. Obviously, we're currently going through the Mage part of our anthology series here. Wraith is coming next, and Changeling after that. Join us for all these. We're really excited about them. We also run a one-shot session on the first weekend of every month. The next one is coming up on Sunday, February the 6th, and will be Tales from the Loop, a self-contained story. Join us for that. I love Tales from the Loop. It honestly is one of the things that really got me back into role-playing games after like a couple of years of just being a bit tired, treading the same ground. Yeah, love Tales from the Loop, so please do join us for that. Have we got comments and questions, John?
Yes, we do.
Steve, with all this talk of time manipulation, I'm now wondering if the mages are responsible for the fire in the first place.
Why would you say that? But also, yes.
I would like to point out this happened like near the beginning of the episode, so
Oh, this is the spookiest.
Well,
we've
no,
ever
I think
been in
what
this
Steve is
channel,
saying
I
is
think.
if this cabal set the fire in the first place, so
yeah,
Yeah.
which is not what just happened. So I make that clear.
Well, not yet. We can
It would
always
be a good
reverse,
twist, though. That would be a really good twist, Steve.
reverse
I like
time to make it so that we're the ones who started
Yeah.
the fire.
You have to kind of force that, though. Like it'd be very difficult to make that organic and not
Yeah.
railroaded, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I can imagine.
we have in discussion about what the fifth orb could be about.
There's that neon sign museum, isn't there? Yeah, that's
There
a good.
is.
That's actually really good. I saw that in the chat and it gave me a little chuckle. I do like that idea. Yeah, the neon sign museum from our Vampire the Masquerade arc, absolutely. The American Sign Museum, I think it's called, where
Yeah.
you met the frog.
Yeah, the
Frog
Frog Boys.
Frog Boys.
Frog Boys, yeah,
Gotta love the Frog Boys.
love the Frog Boys. So magic is vulgar if no one's present to witness it. No, the opposite. Magic is vulgar if someone is. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. So the definition of vulgar in Mage the Ascension is if there is any visible or sensory effect outside the mage themselves. So if someone was there, if someone did see the tree in the forest falling down, would they know? Yeah, if there's anyone there who can detect that supernatural things are happening in any sense, then magic is vulgar. But vulgar with actual witnesses is far more dangerous than vulgar without witnesses. Because if you
It does strike me that systemically what we did for that final roll was to move the vulgar with witnesses roll from Pierre to John.
Yes, it wouldn't have been vulgar with witnesses it wouldn't have been vulgar anyway because only Pierre was perceiving the time shift. But it definitely meant that no one saw the dance at all. No one saw you doing weird things in the library, which is a plus probably. Otherwise, it would have been a roll.
I like to imagine that like Roth was like dimming the lights, like just before a performance. And I was
Sure,
like, oh, yes,
yeah.
extra
I like
drama.
Just so we know, in terms of like how witnesses affect the situation, any vulgar magic that succeeds has one paradox, so it doesn't matter if it succeeds. If it botches, on a botch, if it's coincidental, you get 1 point of paradox per dot in the highest sphere used, which is quite bad already. Vulgar without witnesses is 1 plus 1. It's 1 dot plus 1 per dot in the highest sphere. And vulgar with witnesses is 2 plus 2 per dot in the highest sphere. So if you're using a sphere 3 and you botch with witnesses, that's 8 paradox right there.
So at what point should we be worried about how much paradox we've got?
If you get if you get 5 or more paradox in one instance, you instantly get a paradox backlash. Otherwise, you get it when I feel like it.
Fair enough.
If I feel you just got a load of paradox stacked up, and I feel like, I think reality will try and bend back into shape at this point. So yeah.
As a veteran mage player, I should say that you should never not be worried about paradox.
Like, there's some really cool paradox effects. It can be just as simple as like you have like paradox burn, essentially, where like you can just be damaged, or you can be it can like backlash on you in some way, or you can be like attract the attention of weird things, or be cast into like odd dimensions or whatever. But one of my personal favorites, which is there's a number of different paradox spirits that you might encounter, and my favorite one is one that I think is in 2nd edition, who's just called Mr. Time or something, and he's just like this kind of 1940s gentleman, like sort of bowler hat, like pocket watch and jacket suit, who will just blink into existence next to you and kind of no, this won't do at all, and will just fuck with you for minutes, hours, days, weeks, until he feels that you have sufficiently redressed. Basically, you get your own queue.
Perfect. Ideal.
Surely the
So-
worst curse someone can experience is getting their own queue.
Yeah, absolutely. Next bit, John, please. John, I believe the book specifically says calling it arete is a social faux pas in awakened circles. Yeah, sure. Which I've done for years, but then I'm not awakened, so it's all fine.
Yet.
What we got
Getting
next?
there.
Next, we've got. Let's go with this one.
Woo Spooky Magic Cincinnati. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Mr. Time is giving me Sapphire and Steel vibes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Whimsical reality weirdness.
I might as well. This is
Yeah.
a good point.
What paradox
Dre.
levels are the characters at now?
I'm on 1,
1, 1, 1, 1. 1 all round. Good stuff.
All right.
which is 4 in total.
Yeah.
That's 4 too many.
Slow down here.
Quick maths.
Next.
I think that's probably all good.
Well, then I'll put on some praise for me. There we go.
Okay.
Lovely descriptive work this evening. John doesn't feel I deserve praise.
It's always lovely
It wasn't in the
maths.
start section.
Thank you.
It is always lovely.
I mean, yeah, it's a nice chance to. It's always fun to do a haunted house, right? Night bites. Hello.
That was super
that a
spooky. I've
clapping
not
emoji?
been quite so spooked in a roleplay session in quite some time.
Yeah, it's good.
Good. I wanted to essentially, and people out there who are fans of World of Darkness some of you will and some of you won't. I wanted to have at least one session that was a little bit of a Hallowbrook hotel. That's it. So yeah, that was fun. And also, as I think John, did you put it in the chat saying like, I think I know where we're going to be, where we're going to see the library next in what story arc? Yeah, you might not be wrong there. There we go. Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, folks, and thank you to my lovely players. And we'll see you next week for the third installment of Mage the Ascension. Take care and stay safe. Bye bye.